news. This is coming from Los Angeles Times. When your friends turn against you. So, California Congressman Adam Schiff has now asked Biden to leave. He's going to kiss up to him, though. Here's the quote: has been one of the most consequential presidents in our nation's history. His lifetime of service as senator, vice president, and now as president has made our country better. And here's the quote, but, and you know if it came before the word but, he probably didn't mean it. That's how our language works. But our nation is at a crossroads. A second Trump presidency will undermine, blah, 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 blah. The choice to withdraw from the campaign is President Biden's alone, but Schiff believes it's time for Biden to pass the torch.
That's all I have to say about that. He was my nominee. Everybody said you can't change a nominee. You can't take you-know-who off the ballot because he's the chosen nominee. I feel the same way. And how dare you make this decision for me? If you want to know what I think as a Democrat, somebody should ask us, as opposed to telling us what they're going to do. Now, I'm just getting over COVID again, and I can barely remember anybody's name. I don't know who they are. So I'm not going to take any issues because there are times when I can't remember stuff. There are times when I go for a word and it's not there, and I'm just not going to go and decide that's the problem. If he falls low in this next debate, I'll consider changing my outlook.
But that's not until September.
You couldn't
It's not, well, but you know, if it's too late, it's too late.
Adam Schiff is now calling on Joe Biden to step down. That's right, the very same Adam Schiff who was neck deep in defending Democrats is now sounding the alarm. Biden is done, folks, and it's becoming clearer and clearer by the day.
We're back with some breaking news. One of the leading Democrats on the Hill is now calling on President Biden to drop out of the race. In an exclusive statement to the LA Times, California Congressman and Senate candidate Adam Schiff says he believes it is time for Biden to pass the torch and secure his legacy of leadership by allowing another Democrat to beat Trump. That new call comes just as NBC News learns that the president has had enough with the questions about his mental acuity and whether he should stay in the race, as he privately conveys the conversations about his future being over. A senior Biden aide says, they tell us they've got a good plan to fight through this, but that fight is coming up against brand new polling from the Associated Press that shows nearly 2/3 of Democrats want Biden to withdraw from the race.
Schiff's comments are just the tip of the iceberg. More and more voices are joining the chorus, pointing out the glaring issues in Biden's presidency. Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have reportedly expressed similar views directly to Biden and suggested he drop out of the race. From his disastrous handling of the economy to the chaotic foreign policy decisions, it's a mess all the way around. And polling is showing that as well. A whopping 65% of Democrats believe Biden should withdraw from the 2024 presidential race and let the party pick a different nominee, according to a new AP NORC poll. The findings add more evidence to the damage done by Biden's disastrous debate performance late last month, which highlighted long-standing concerns about his age and fitness for office. The results also fly in the face of Biden's own claim that the average voter want him to stay in the race. Overall, 70% of U.S. voters want Biden to withdraw from the 2024 race, while 57% want to see former President Trump withdraw. However, Trump enjoys high support from within his own party. Only 26% of Republicans think he should exit the race and let the GOP pick a different candidate, while 73% of Republicans want him to keep running. And only 35% of Democrats want Biden to stay.
Congressman Jason Crow got into a tense exchange with President Biden about whether or not Biden should stay on the ticket for the November election. During a phone call with several lawmakers over the weekend, a source told our news partners that Crow told Biden he's hearing from voters who, quote, need to feel that you have the helm when they go to bed each night, and went on to say, quote, We are seeing overwhelming evidence in our districts that many voters are losing confidence you can do this in a second term. It's not fair, but it's true. End quote there. Crow then asked Biden what changes he would make to his campaign. The source says Biden, quote, ripped him in response and that the call was tense, defensive, and hard to watch. Crow told us on Saturday that Biden is not breaking through to voters.
CNN is learning of a contentious weekend phone call between Joe Biden and some House Democrats, and the details show just how dug in the president is and also how resistant he is to entertaining some valid concerns about how his debate performance has eroded some key support. Sources say at one point during the call, President Biden lashed out at Congressman Jason Crow, who is a moderate Democrat, after Crow said bluntly that voters are concerned about Biden, especially on the world stage. The president reportedly told Crow, who is an Army Ranger who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, that he knows Crow is a Bronze Star recipient like his son Beau, but that he, Crow, quote, didn't rebuild NATO. After that, the call only grew more contentious as Crow pushed back, telling the president the voters aren't seeing him that way. And that's when Biden told Crow, quote, I don't want to hear that crap, and said the congressman could walk away if he wanted, to which Crow said he didn't want to walk away, but Biden, angry, replied that Crow should just walk away. Our sources say that Biden also had a tense exchange with Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan of Pennsylvania. Houlihan reportedly telling the president that she was concerned about his standing in a key county in her battleground state, but Biden pushed back and suggested he didn't believe her. Houlihan then told Biden that she had polling to back it up. And according to our sources, Biden responded by telling Houlihan he'd send her talking points of everything that he'd done for Pennsylvania and reminded her that he had married a Philly girl. Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida. Sir, thank you so much for spending a little time with us this afternoon. Were you on that call?
I was on that call.
So you heard this, Houlihan saying that she has polling that shows he's in trouble, and the president's response is to say that he'll get her talking points. Why do you think the president is dismissing what appear to be some valid concerns backed up by data?
Well, look, I'm not going to talk about the details of those calls. I will confirm that there were some tense exchanges with members. I will give you kind of an overall viewpoint of kind of the back and forth exchanges. Is I'm deeply concerned that the president's circle, the people who are working around the president, who quite frankly have kept him in a bubble for some time, are also not giving him the facts and the polling data on the ground. They're not showing him what we're seeing in our districts, what we're seeing in the polling and the movement, and in fact, the consistency of that polling. And if it wasn't consistent, it's only in a downward trend. And so, look, these discussions are ongoing. That's not the only call that has happened since then. But, that is the concern that's going on right now within the Democratic House caucus.
Biden has, for now, defied calls from lawmakers for him to step aside and insisted he will not drop out. But why is Schiff and other Democrat lawmakers speaking out now behind closed doors? It's simple. The Democratic Party is scrambling. They know Biden's approval ratings are tanking and they need a scapegoat. Schiff, always the opportunist, is positioning himself to be seen as a voice of reason within the party. It's a strategic move, but it also highlights just how dire things have become for the Democrats. Republicans have been warning about this for years. We saw the writing on the wall when Biden first took office. His policies are disastrous and his leadership is weak. It's no surprise that the country is suffering under his administration. And the American people are starting to wake up. They see the inflation, the rising gas prices, the increased cost of living, all direct results of Biden's policies. They see the failures abroad, from Afghanistan to Ukraine, and wonder how much longer can we afford this type of leadership. Let's talk about polling for a bit. Biden's approval ratings are plummeting. Not that they were great before, but someone's got to be lying to him about his standing. Recent polls show not only a significant drop in support from Democrats, but also key demographics, including independents and younger voters. The American people are losing faith in Biden's ability to lead, and the numbers don't lie. Democrat hypocrisy is on full display. Remember how they slammed Trump for every perceived misstep? Now they're silent on Biden's blunders, except for behind closed doors. It's a double standard that's impossible to ignore. They preach accountability, but fail to hold their own leader to the same standards. In March, Adam Schiff made a public show criticizing Robert Hur for including Biden's poor mental state in his report. Almost exactly 4 months later, he calls on Biden to drop out over his poor mental state. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make this stuff up. Robert Hur's report was a turning point. He described Biden as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. The report noted significant limitations in Biden's memory, such as forgetting key dates and events related to his time as vice president. Hur chose not to bring up criminal charges against Biden, citing the difficulty of convincing a jury to convict an elderly former president of serious felonies requiring willfulness. The report has spurred controversy, with Republican lawmakers pushing for the release of the audio tapes from Biden's interview with her, believing it would further expose Biden's unfitness for office. Biden and his allies have aggressively pushed back on concerns about his mental fitness, but the damage is done. The American people are waking up and the wheels are falling off. But here's the question for you guys. Why now? Why are Democrats like Schiff only speaking out now? Is it because they're trying to save face as Biden's presidency continues to falter? They know he can't beat Trump. They definitely know that. And let's not ignore the hypocrisy here. The primaries are over, and the Democratic Party choosing a different nominee now would be undemocratic, to use their own terms, a threat to democracy. But we already knew this. We know that they are the party that's the true threat, not only to their own democracy, but to the republic that we live in today. It would completely undermine the primary process and the voices of the voters who participated in these elections. They slammed Trump and the GOP for every perceived flaw, but now they want to change the rules to suit their needs. It's a double standard that you just can't ignore. But anyway, as more voices join the call for Biden to step down, remember that this isn't just about politics. It's about the future of our nation. It's about ensuring that we have the leader who is up to the task of addressing the critical issues we face. And that really has never been Biden. But let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment down below. I appreciate all the love and support. Consider joining the ARP family. It supports me, it supports the team, it supports the channel. It gives us the ability to produce this type of content on a day-to-day basis. I appreciate each person that has joined the family thus far. God bless each and every one of you guys. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. And I'm going to catch up with you all next time. Peace.